You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Polow and Tell, is that you?
Mic check. Mic check waifu. Williams, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. What's going on, bro? How you feeling?
This is episode 130 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex. Make sure you go to lubecomplex.com and use that offer code Waifu to save on your entire cart. It's also brought to you by don'ttalkshop.com, as well as our very generous Patreon producers, ABM Brown, Dre to Go G, Jaleesa, Ked the Pro, Explicitly, Monique Williams, and Nachi. Thank y'all so much for producing this and many other episodes. I forgot to post this on Twitter, but Nachi, we were his #1 podcast in his Spotify wrap up. He said he started listening around episode 80 and went back and listened to old episodes, and he said we was mad consistent, and he appreciated us for that. So thank you, Nachi, for listening to us, for rocking with us for such a long time. That's a long time. Episode 80? Yeah. That's crazy. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. And just shout out general for our Patreon producers. A lot of y'all been supporting us for a very long time. So shout out to Blind Anime Podcast, Moody Senpai, MJ3, Worst Generation Podcast, Alan, aka Gov Pancakes, Crystal, we love you, Cryfu, Rob J. Thank y'all so much for supporting the podcast for as long as y'all have. It's crazy the amount of support and how long y'all been supporting it. Means the world to us. Thank you for doing that. This episode is a special episode because we're going to call this the winter wrap up. We're going to basically give our general thoughts of the shows we watched, shows we picked up, biggest surprises and whatnot. First and foremost, I want to start off with you on what was your episode of the week this week? If you got an episode number, that'd be helpful so the people know what we were referring to.
Episode 9 of Ranking of Kings will be my episode of the week.
That's funny because it was mine too until
okay
until I watched Jobless Reincarnation, and it broke my fucking heart.
I thought you was gonna feel that.
Yeah, it broke my fucking heart. So listen, this is how my week went. It started off with the first thing I watched, because I like to go in the order in which I'm like, this show's okay, I'll start here and then start to move forward from there, like on my okay shows. Komi Can't Communicate, which is a really good show. I watched that. I'm like, oh, this is a good episode. Damn, this might actually be my episode of the week. Then Ranking the Kings came out. I watched Ranking the Key. No. Then it was The World's Finest Assassin. I'm like, oh no, this is definitely going to be my episode of the week.
That was a really good one.
And then, which is episode 10, by the way, of the White World's Finest Assassin. Then episode 9 of Ranking the Kings came out. I'm like, no, this is definitely my episode of the week. So it's such a good episode. So emotional. Very, very, very good episode. Then I watched Jobless Reincarnation. I'm like, well, shit. Nope. This is my episode of the week. So that ended up topping everything that I end up watching. The order in which I watch this stuff is very important, apparently. Because I think if I would have watched Ranking the Kings after Jobless Reincarnation, I probably would have thought Ranking the Kings was still better. But it's just, I guess because Jobless was today and it was so fresh, I'm like, holy shit. Nah, man, that was just emotional impact got me.
Yeah.
And next week is the last week.
That's true. And that I'm a little shattered by the fact that this last episode is next week.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want more. Just like there's a lot of really strong points in Jobless Reincarnation,
and a lot
just knowing it's not going to be with us week to week anymore.
It's hard. It's hard to handle.
It's almost as hard as not getting confirmation on like Fire Force season 3 or ReZero season 3.
Man, you playing? You ain't playing. I do want to say this. I'm gonna go into this new show that I picked up though. Again, as I said last week, I've been picking up a lot of slice of life that is very drama filled. I picked up one. Looks like this is another 2008 joint. Let me see. I gotta know if this is the case or not. Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, here it is. This is actually 2007, so a year before Clannad.
Okay.
Something about this time period, early 2000s slice of life anime, all are just so fucking sad and gut punching and depressing and just very, very fucking good. So this anime I picked up is called Myself Yourself. Now, Myself Yourself is a very interesting concept because it's about this kid who moves away from his hometown and returns to his hometown 5 years later. The thing is before he leaves, he has a party with his friends, a going away party with like his childhood friends, and they're talking about, hey, you know, here's a gift, here's a gift, here's a gift. He comes, one of his childhood friends who he apparently liked is a super bubbly, super beautiful, nice violin player. She's an amazing girl. She gives him the gift of a violin song that she wrote, but didn't quite finish yet because he was leaving. She played it for him. It was beautiful. All ends well. Then he comes back 5 years later to this town. When he comes back, that childhood friend which was bubbly and sweet, is now this just drab and mean and just bitchy girl that like just completely changed up. Mm-hmm. And come to find out that she went through this fucking traumatic experience that nobody would tell the main character about until he said something which fucked everything up. But in this show, his childhood friends, including himself, goes through something horribly traumatic that they're all dealing with at the same time, and it's all revolving around them dealing with this traumatic experience and them becoming themselves again. Essentially, it's quite sad. You got a situation to where these twins, whose father he's a politician, and these twins are so close that people starts to believe that they like are into each other romantically, which isn't the case. They're twins and they're really close siblings. I hope. But like there's people like best friends plotting to ruin relationships. It's a whole lot of fucking just drama, and it was just so heavy. But I couldn't stop watching it. I watched it all in one night because I skipped those intros and outros.
We talked about last week how Polow is not a drama person in real life, but he loves a little bit of messy drama in his anime. So messy. The thing is like I'm assuming they kind of talk about some of the stuff she dealt with after he left and whatnot. Yeah. So that trauma and stuff could be real. And I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna spoil it. Myself Yourself. Go ahead and skip about. I'm not going to give myself more than like 5 minutes. So skip 5 minutes if you plan on watching Myself Yourself. It came out in 2007. It's on Funimation if you want to watch it, or Hulu. I think it's on both if it's on Funimation. But yo, what's up? It's Future Polow here. Just to let y'all know that I did not keep the spoiler section for Myself Yourself in this episode. I decided to cut it out and put it up on Patreon exclusively for you guys there. So if you're not interested in watching Myself Yourself, but you want to know the spoilers that I discuss, make sure you check out our Patreon at just $1 or above to get access to that. But yeah, check out Myself Yourself. It's a good anime. It's an awful, but yet endearing, very sweet, good show, man. Good show. Where do you find this shit, bro?
I'm telling you, man. Scrolling. I'm probably gonna cut all that out. I'm gonna put this on Patreon. So hey, Patreon, you got this exclusive spoiler for Myself Yourself. It's intense, man. It's intense. It had me on the verge of Clannad crying until I'm just like, you know what? This is okay. It's okay. Beautiful music, nice melodies. Good show. Good show. Sorry, just take up a lot of time with that one. I said 5 minutes. I ended up going for like 11.
Not even close, but damn. I like that a lot, actually. That sounds amazing.
This is what slice of life can do to you, man. It can literally it. Like I said, it alters my whole way of watching shit and experiencing different anime. If anime isn't written well or directed well, I don't want to pay that shit no attention. Kind of like this next show I want to talk about, Faraway Paladin. This fucking show is getting on my goddamn nerves, man.
Come on, bro. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but it was bad. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
It was. And I agree. Here's the thing. So, and I talked about this last night. I think Moody had her Senpai Saturday space on Twitter.
Shout out to Moody.
And I'm in there talking. They talking about, somebody said something about Faraway Paladin, and I said the issue with Faraway Paladin is that they had that really solid opening where they gave us like the world building in that opening where there was like basically no world felt significantly better than it currently feels when we're actually seeing the world. It was like I would have rather the world had been a mystery.
Yes.
And it's just weird, like how they dropped the ball on that. Like how did we regress in terms of story development and character development so drastically as soon as he got into the actual world?
Yeah, because I remember us talking about it at the beginning. Like outside of that villain being trash, the beginning characters were fantastic. But it was getting to a point where I'm like, okay, this is great, but I feel like this is dragging on a little bit too long. I kind of want to see where this goes. And when he finally leaves, I feel like I appreciate the first 4 episodes so much more now because they were so solid. They were just solid pieces of fucking story that you just felt. This shit, I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we? It's like I said on Twitter. Shout out to Black. Black loves this show. I had to disagree with him wholeheartedly. Like it went from what that was in the first 4 to again a situation of the week with prayer being the answer to everything. And I just don't. I get it. He's strong by the power of Gracefield. I get it. He's trained with some of the best adventurers. Now take me somewhere with that. Take me far with that. I want to be a fucking faraway paladin. Actually living the life of this of what my mother and father, lack of better words, raised me and showed me like this is what you're gonna have to deal with. And I'm not dealing with any of that. I'm dealing with light problems. Yeah, the wyvern was a bigger deal, but it still didn't feel like shit in the grand scheme of things. Like I don't feel like it's going anywhere.
Yeah. And it almost felt obvious even at the end where we get kind of like the crown prince and his little statement at the end. Like all of that felt obvious, and it just it's not like dropping those breadcrumbs. It's not giving us something to like look forward to. It just feels dry at this point.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
And when I say dry, I mean like it had a full well of water to begin with, and the well has gone dry. And I don't know how they could refill it at this point. Like, how can they make this interesting again? Yeah,
like what they try to do, and Black mentioned this, is like they gave us a potential villain. This crown prince is not a villain. He's a realist. He's a fucking realist, and you can see it through and through. Like he understands this world and his kingdom. He's moving how I think a real king would move. So he's not evil. He's not a bad guy. The bad people, the bad guys are the demons. And I got a feeling he's going to give him a job and like, this job could kill you, but I'm going to use you because I feel like you maybe are capable. And I feel like this is going to go to a place where he goes to another situation, another little dungeon area. They're going to show us terrible animation again. And then he's going to fight, win, pray to Gracefield. We're going to move on. Next step. That's boring. That's boring. It's not cool. And then like the problem is the shit that we're watching now, bro. It just, everything else just holds up so much better. Yeah. And then shit like Faraway Paladin, and another one that we're going to talk about, obviously, that disappointed both the White Check Waifu host, and that's Platinum In.
Consistently.
What the fuck? How did you feel about this most recent? Or how do you feel about Platinum In for this season, period? Let's just
Platinum In as a whole is a dud. It is my feeling of it. As a whole, it dropped the ball ever since the ending of episode 1. Going on from that point, it was just like, this is not good enough. This episode specifically, like, we literally ran around in circles the whole episode,
bro.
They tried to make it such a big deal that our main character flashed his white arrow or his white arrow and shot it, but intentionally missed because he knew the guy could run away. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, it's a big deal. This is character development. It's not. Nope. It's not. He doesn't want to kill anybody, and he did this as a sign of like, I'm not gonna hurt anybody. It's quite obvious what he is. He's a pussy, and that's fine. He stated it from the beginning that he's not this kind of guy,
right?
But I also think like the idea of them flying around a cage for 1.5 days or almost 2 days, and you have a pregnant woman in your arms flying at Mach speeds that would literally put her into labor or kill her and the baby. I am completely flabbergasted and confused at the fact that, like,
bro, he got on a Power Ranger suit that negates everything, dog. Dang.
The thing is right though, I understand being a god candidate, right?
Yeah.
And being immune to the speeds you fly at. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. But regular people don't just instantly become immune to flying at the speed of sound. Yeah. You like, let's do a quick Google search real quick.
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. You might.
How?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
How fast do you have to be?
This is Mythbusters. Mic check.
How fast you have to be to be faster than the human eye?
That's a good thing to Google search. Yeah.
All right. So in order for ball, it would need to be across 70 meters in 1/250th of a second. That's 17,500 meters or 38,145 miles per hour.
Jesus.
So
Christ.
To be faster than a human eye for a person would be more than that.
Unbelievable.
That woman would have exploded.
So what Tell's referring to, he's referring to episode 10 of Platinum Man. Like, and he's absolutely right. This shit is consistently garbage. And I just, like, I don't like, two things that had, like I said on Twitter, cracked to whack starts. Like, it starts so fucking good. Like, you're like, this shit is fire. And then all of a sudden, you're like, what? What is happening right now? What's going on? So obviously for Mic Check Waifu, the two biggest disappointments of the winter seasons is obviously Platinum Man and Faraway Paladin. This shit, I don't think it can get any worse than those two. I would say I would rather watch Build Divide than either one of those. And I hate Build Divide. Build Divide is real bad.
Yes.
But I would rather watch Faraway Paladin than Build Divide and Platinum Man. But my disappointment for Faraway Paladin's potential is I guess at an all-time high.
Build Divide's plot went through shit too. Mm-hmm. It killed my interest in the game.
Same. Like,
how do you come up with a game, make it slightly interesting, and then say, you know what, let's kill it?
All of it. I don't know.
Like, they stopped even starting the game the same way. You just start off the game at one point and you just got all your shit up. Like, I'm just playing and then my big bad is already right there helping me with this roulette. It's not good anymore.
You just start with Dark Magician on the fucking field, basically. It's crazy. It's wild. It's stupid. But enough of that. We did have surprises though. Fantastic surprises. Obviously, we know the world's finest assassin is a surprise for us. Like, we didn't expect it to be as good as it was. We did expect it to be good because it looked good, but we didn't expect it to be as good as it is. But also, Banished from the Hero's Party. Very interesting show. Very good show. So if you haven't picked up Banished from the Hero's Party, definitely pick that up. We've been watching it consistently week to week, and it's been fire. Absolute fire. Obviously we all know how we feel about 86. Watch 86. We will forever scream that from the rooftops. Forever.
I also said this in Moody's space because someone said they stopped watching 86. And
what?
The fact of the matter is, you are doing yourself a disservice by not watching 86.
Tell them.
By not watching Jobless Reincarnation.
Tell them.
By not watching Remake Our Life.
Yeah, that's
by not watching Baby Fluorite Eye Song.
Yeah. Doofus. You gotta watch them. You just have to watch them, or you're gonna be considered a doofus. That's forever. That is forever. Those are most. Did they say why they stopped watching it?
No, no. They just said that. I just stopped watching like 3 episodes in. I just talked to Connor too, and Connor said the same thing. He stopped watching 86 3 episodes in. I was like, he must have been waiting for it to build up or something and forgot about it. Yeah. But I can't imagine. Like, I hate right now the fact that I gotta wait until the 18th.
Right.
The 18th?
Right.
What do you mean you gonna make me wait in a pandemic? I gotta wait to watch the next episode of 86.
I know. Hey, shout out to Crystal though. She picked it up finally. Last thing I saw her thread that she said she was confused, and I'm like, yes,
beauty.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. You were supposed to be. I am going to say this. We are going to spoil, a few shows at the end of the show, like Jobless Reincarnation and Demon Slayer. But this episode of Demon Slayer, man, I didn't like it.
It was okay as fuck.
I didn't like it.
I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. It just didn't feel like an episode that was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be a lot. It was just supposed to be like, we're getting to the information. We're getting to the point. I would assume that the next episodes are going to start showing more progression in terms of like what's going on.
I just got a general question for you though. If you can answer this for me, please answer this for me. Do you remember Demon Slayer being this satirical? Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, that is the word I'm looking for.
So I remember satire moments, but where I think they weren't placed through like the entirety of the episode, right?
Yeah.
Like this episode felt like it was a lot of satire, but normally that was like for moments.
Very small moments too.
Yeah, I think that this episode, like I said, this episode was meant for not like that serious action progression. Even though I expected like this character to be a little bit more on the serious side for something.
Yeah, it was the entire episode was very distracting. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is I just didn't want to pay attention to it because I'm like, oh, come on, this is too much. This is just way too much. Like, it's just, like I said about, we'll talk about this in a minute, but like I said about it, I just don't feel like it felt out of place. This entire episode felt out of place from what I remember Demon Slayer being. I remember Demon Slayer being, yes, very sad, very serious, very, like, I guess, approachable. And then little sprinkles of satire, little sprinkles of just this whimsical, bombastic silliness. Very light, especially when he met Zenitsu and Inosuke. But this felt just like, it was like, what? Stop. Enough of these faces. Enough of this. It felt like Dr. Stone. It felt like it was trying to be Dr. Stone for some reason. And that shit just wasn't working. It definitely wasn't working. Because at least
I can see that.
At least Dr. Stone, I laughed a little bit at some points. This, I was like annoyed.
I do think the depiction of the entertainment district was like beautiful though.
Yeah,
like
gorgeous. Yeah.
Actually looking around like the entertainment district, the shots that they gave us, the angles, that shit was gorgeous, bro.
RTX was on. I don't know what they do. They use Unreal Engine 5. This shit looks beautiful, bro.
You know how Ufotable do, but bro, yeah, it was definitely beautiful. But the episode itself, yeah, the pacing and story for this episode was like off. But yeah, it is getting to the point, I can only assume, because we don't have a ton of episodes to kind of go through.
I didn't even think, to be honest with you, I didn't even think they were going to be in the entertainment district as fast as they were. So I'm very excited about it moving at a pace. I feel like it's going to be nice. I just feel like maybe they kind of drag this one along just so they can hit us heavy later, and that's where I'm gonna go with that. So yeah, I do feel like that was that. I did want to touch on before we move on. Something else came out this winter, and that's the live action Cowboy Bebop. The news we just got the news recently that it's canceled 3 weeks after it was released. And I've said on Twitter, shout out to the homie Jay. I said good. A lot of people were upset. I'm not. I feel like it needed to be canceled. I don't think it, because if it would have kept going, it would have just got worse. I just feel like it was. I even said this to Jay. I'm like, listen, man, it felt more whimsical than the anime itself, and that is a problem because the anime is written so well with, again, very light satire moments, but mostly down to business kind of shit, and it just felt like it was trying to way too hard to I don't know, to cater to his whimsical side. Like, I'm like, what? Why are we doing all this extra shit? Like, anime is already extra as it is. We all know this. But this extra on top of that, I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
I think a lot of the issue with the Cowboy Bebop live action was, like you said, that extra. And fans of the series itself are going to be outspoken about that bullshit. Yeah. And you have, imagine not being a fan of anime, getting dragged into watching Cowboy Bebop because it's this new series, super popular on Netflix, or it's getting all this press, right? Let's not even say super popular,
right?
Because it wasn't necessarily super popular. I don't even know if it broke the top 10 recommended. It did?
Yeah.
Okay. But you talk about the viewership, right, and the cost of the show. The show had to be expensive.
Very. Yeah.
Was not a cheap show. And then you had so much backlash for it being extra. And they had all that sound design. Like, the sound design for that show was amazing. But like I said, it was overdone. That extra. They didn't need extra on everything.
Exactly.
You already gave us extra on the fights, and like the visual effects and stuff was super cool. I liked that. Yeah. But then you had, like, I didn't need the 5 different camera angles for the same punch. Some of this stuff they could have cut out, save cost, and maybe they would have had a show still, or maybe fans wouldn't have been so down on it for being ridiculous. Like, we know this is a faraway mixed reality fantasy kind of show, but it's too much.
Exactly.
And while we loved it for like giving us some references for it, we hated it for being like, I'm not even gonna say hated it, because I didn't absolutely hate it.
Nobody really hated it.
But I was turned off by it because of the almost like overrepresentation. It was just too much.
Yeah, what I think they try to do is they try to make it, because again, fucking Jet's terrible beard, like his terrible beard wig shit, it was so fucking unfortunately distracting to me. Then I'm like, okay, maybe they're trying to be a little bit more whimsical for shit like that. And then like trying to portray, what's her name? I can't think of her name.
Faye.
Yeah, trying to portray Faye the way Faye is portrayed, but she overacted it. It was just, all of it was just too much. Like you said about the fight scenes and the 5 different camera angles for one punch. Like, you literally have Cowboy Bebop taking from reality with their fight scenes. They focus on one spot. It's just what they call it. I forget what they call it in the cinematography world, because I haven't been in it so long. But they just have the left side and the right side, and they literally fucking throw hands in that on each side, and the camera don't move. It only change angles once whenever somebody's getting pushed back off of the right side of the camera canvas, and it's beautiful. Cowboy Bebop fight scenes are gorgeous. This one was crooked camera angles, replay of one punches. It was disgusting, and it was a big turnoff. Again, now, was the show horrible? No, I wouldn't say it's horrible. I don't think it's horrible. And mind you, I was a big advocate of, hey man, I believe this is gonna be good. Like, I was one of those types. I watched it. Objectively speaking, I can say it was disappointing. And again, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. Definitely.
I would like to say we also had no idea that the intro to this live action Cowboy Bebop was going to be the entirety of the show. we did not want the intro to be the entirety of the show. We didn't want to see that same editing and those same, I guess I would say, visual mechanics playing through the entirety of the series. It took a lot away from it. Yes. And what I am a little sad about is that characters I wanted to see like Ed won't get that live action representation.
I'm thankful.
And I wanted to see the character itself, but it's also like, well, here we are. You should have did better, I guess.
Yeah. I'm real thankful because it was going to do anything but hurt my feelings even more. So I'm just happy with that. I'm glad we got it though. It lives in perpetuity, so you can watch it on Netflix. It's never going to go anywhere. So if you're feeling nostalgic, just throw on the anime. But you can try to put on the live action if you want. Like it's fine. Nobody's gonna judge you. You can like it too. A bunch of our friends do like the Cowboy Bebop live action, like Johnny J. But it's not for us. It's not the way we roll.
Yeah.
Anything else this winter season that you're surprised about that we didn't discuss?
Ranking of Kings.
Yeah. Pleasant surprise.
It's. I don't think it's consistently like a top hitter, but I do think it's consistently like it gives us enough in the world to have like a hook to the story.
Yes,
the story is there. I'm super interested in King Boss's his like what his actual intentions are, because he seems like the most layered character so far, other than obviously Boji, but King Bo's obviously a layered character, and I'm really interested in seeing what his intentions are, what his what he's gonna do about sacrificing his son.
The situation.
Yeah, situations, sacrificing the situations.
Yeah, it's 23 episodes of this. Ranking the Kings is good. It's definitely good. Is it the winner's best? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I find myself watching it and being entertained. I just think this is just, I think it's too outrageous sometimes with the world that I'm just like, okay. It's like too Disney, if you will.
Okay, yeah, the art style and
no, not the art style. Just because I'm thinking of like the world of Shrek and shit. Like it's just. Oh,
I'd compare more to Game of Thrones, but
no.
less violent.
No, because what I'm trying to say is like, okay, you got people like Kage, little assassin, black little thing, and you got the underworld, and you got like people coming out of people. It's everything about it is just is like, what is it? Is it magical? It's like, I don't know. I just don't, it doesn't have an identity. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. The identity it doesn't have an identity between like the character designs, what things are, why they are. It just doesn't, it's too fairy tale-ic. I made that word up. Yeah. And that works. Like you got the whole snake guy, the whole talking snake. You got that guy that was that hunter that was fucking huge, that was sacrificing spirits to bring more food down. Like it just was like a lot of that shit. And I was like, what is going? Like it's just too fairy tale-ic. Well, it's a word I made up, and then we're gonna stick with it. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like it's.
I got you.
I like it though. I really do like the show. It's a good show. I don't think it's very groundbreaking because it's just too much.
Yeah, it has some. It's hard for it to set itself up and prove itself amongst what it has.
That's exactly it. Like that's probably why this most recent episode was so good for us. Because it was more streamlined in structure, right? You had the shield of the king or the queen. I'm just going to say that. You had, another flashback of her being her and how she is. When you assume one thing, you can't judge a book by its cover type of situation. Like I love that shit about it. Like I love that part when it's just that. But then when it's doing all this other shit, it's cool. But I love the show. I like the show.
Exactly. Well, what really drew me in is, like I said, that I want to see what the king is going to really do.
Yeah.
And what he's really about. Because I feel like he's not as... He not pussy. What I mean more or less is that he's not a man who is backing down from what he truly believes. He's just standing a certain... He's putting on a certain front right now to get to his actual end goal. Is how I think it. That's how I think it is.
And I'm with you. I think the light is brighter than what it appears to be. That's what I'm gonna go with. So if you're watching Reign of the Kings, you know exactly what we're talking about. The light is definitely brighter than it appears to be because it seems real dark, and there's a few light switches that's on that you just can't see at the moment because the door closed.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
Quite literally. Yeah. Let's get to know Mic Check Waifu. This is a part of the podcast where one of us rolls a random number generator, the other reads a question associated with that random number. Overall, though, before we get to the random number generator, pulls that up, I am going to say this winter season is definitely a success. There's too many shows like The World's Finest Assassin, Banished from a Hero's Party, Reign of Kings, 86, Jobless Reincarnation are just too good. I feel like I don't think I've seen a better winter season than this one. And I've spent a lot of time scrolling the nanny list and like looking at past winter seasons, and none of them are this good. Or not winter, fall. Sorry, I've been saying winter this whole fucking episode. I mean fall.
What about the fall when we had Demon Slayer? Or wait, didn't we get Astro Lost in Space in the fall?
That was, I believe, spring. No, I believe. Let me see.
Because we had Astro Lost in Space.
Fall 2020 was. Oh shit. Hold on. No, it wasn't that much. It was Jujutsu Kaisen, the Demon Slayer movie, Tony Kawa Over the Moon with You, Akadama Drive. This not 2020. Yeah. Definitely not 2020. What is it, 2019 then?
Yeah.
2019 we got... No. Definitely not.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, 2019 we got My Hero Season 4, Beastars, the Fourth Plate Food Wars. 2019 was kind of terrible. Oh, Sword Art Online, Alicization. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Ooh, Orsuki. Okay, Orsuki was real good.
Ain't nobody watched that.
Hey, come on, man. You know I did. Yeah, not much else though. That was this fall was a lot better than a lot of other falls, at least the last 2 years. Yeah.
All right. We got you. Polo proved his point. All right. Getting on my check waifu. The number is 18.
For number 18, the question is favorite comedy anime. Man, fuck, Tell. Before you answer that question, I gotta rewind this again. And I'm pissed off that I'm just not remembering this. Fucking Link Click came out this fall.
It came out in the fall? I thought it came out... Oh.
Let me just validate that. Because I do believe it came out this fall.
Because I thought it came out in summer and we just missed it because we were shitty.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. You might actually be right. All I know is we didn't talk about it today.
We can talk about it in spoiler talk a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in spoiler talk. Okay. Yeah, no, it came out in the spring, actually. Okay. Yeah, it came out in spring, April. All right, we're going to talk about Link Click and spoiler talk. About favorite comedy anime.
Life Lessons with Orimichi-chan. That was one from earlier this year that was pretty funny. Well, I'm trying to think of can I think of another comedy one?
Let's see, y'all.
One Punch Man is obviously comedy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I guess they consider Noragami comedy.
I got Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy as one of mine.
Oh, you know what? What's funny as fuck? Fairy Tail is all comedy because it's trash.
Jesus Christ. Was not expecting that one.
My team romantic comedy snafu, but I don't really feel like that's comedy. I'm gonna be real with you.
They just have comedy in their name, so they put that on that list, whatever list you're looking at.
All right.
I can't remember what it was. You remember
the
that
guy to high school was funny as fuck because that was also trash.
That was also terrible. Now, you remember that one show we watched? That I watched ongoing, and then you came in and watched it later.
Cool.
The guy was playing that video game, and it was realer than real life or some shit like that. What was it called? Full Dive. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Also, Prison School was funny. But it was a different kind of funny. But Full Dive was funny. I agree. It actually had some parts that audibly made me laugh.
Yeah, Full Dive was hilarious for me. So I'm gonna go with that one. That's my favorite comedy anime.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Life Lessons of Yorimichi-chan, and then I'm gonna also go with Hamtaro.
There you go. Okay. Whatever you can do.
You got to put Hamtaro in there if you can.
No, you can't. All right, we're gonna take this quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna spoil Link Click, Jobless Reincarnation,
Blue Period,
and Blue Period, the season finale of Blue Period. We didn't talk about Blue Period at all, and that's another sleeper. Fuck. We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 130 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at Mic Check Waifu. Remember, the podcast goes live, and I wish I would have said it at the beginning, every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. EST. This week, we're going to talk heavy spoilers for a show that came out in the spring that we picked up. Shout out to a few people on Twitter that told us about this, because I heard about this too. Tail heard about it too, and he started watching it. I'm like, okay, if Tail watching it, then I'll actually pick it up. Called Link Click. Link Click is interesting. It's a Chinese anime, Chinese cartoon, however you want to look at it. It's based off of webcomic, right?
I'm actually not sure about that part, but
okay.
Whatever it's based on is.
It looks like it. It definitely looks like it's based off of a webtoon, but whatever it is, it's definitely good. So we watched the first 8 episodes of it. We're probably going to review it next week alongside of our winter preview. So after our winter preview, we're going to review Link Click, because we feel like it deserves it. It deserves some attention because we know it didn't get enough. Shout out to Moody. She's been singing his praises. And who did you say? Sundere?
Sundari? Yeah, Sundari.
Yeah. She's been singing his praises as well. Watch Link Click. And the reason why is it's just good.
It is really good.
Depressing as hell because it makes sense as to why it is, but it's very it's just like they barely win.
Well,
they never win except for maybe once.
The thing, and that's what we kind of got in some of the later episodes of where we watched of the 8 episodes, because like in the beginning, that first episode didn't really feel like a loss, right? It felt like, it was just kind of like, oh, we broke even, we got information. It gave us a good standard. And then later on, we started to see like darker themes of what could happen or what we could be dealing with. And they lose, but it's not a complete loss, because
they get the job done. And when I say lose, it's the process of their job. It's what the job is. So the job is basically these two guys who have this crazy ability. One guy can essentially view pieces into the past based off of photo evidence, and the other guy can physically apparently go into the past of the picture of whoever's the person that took the picture that they're researching or investigating. And it's such a weird ass concept that makes a whole lot of sense the second episode you watch it. You don't really understand it because they don't explain it at all. But
yeah, they don't.
Watching it, you can use your smarts to figure it the fuck out, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful the way they did it, because I absolutely love that. Absolutely love the fact that they don't give us this super full dive exposition on this power. It just happens, and you slowly start to figure out how it happened, and you slowly start to figure out the rules of why it happened and what you can do and what you can't do. And it's special. Very, very special.
And I agree. That's one of the beauties of how it's done. Because if they gave us that full explanation, it would be like it would be overdone. Like they literally could just show us how it's done, and they've done a good job at that. I think one of the episodes I watched that kind of like when you said about that loss, right? And we kind of find out a little bit more about how actions present themselves within the series or within the ability. Was like the basketball game.
Very rough.
Right. First of all, we found out our dude is raw at basketball. Super raw. He was like, I'm not losing. And he's doing everything he can, but we got more information in that episode specifically.
Exactly right.
Him doing stuff different doesn't immediately change the past, right? Like It does change things, but it doesn't change anything that's going to be detrimental, that'll harm the future, right?
Yeah.
And what they called it is like nodes. Basically,
like if you Steins Gate type of time travel, essentially.
Right. If you change a node, that's an important node, something that's big enough that's going to change things. Like death is important. If you save someone from death, then that will essentially change the future. But like, for instance, we found out them winning the basketball game didn't change the future.
Right.
And it was because there was something much more important down the line that would have negated that regardless.
Exactly.
And I thought that was really cool. And they didn't introduce that. Like, we had no idea that was going to happen.
Nope.
We had no idea until it was like the last second. And then he was trying to figure out how to stop it. And it was like, ain't shit you could do, bro. It ain't shit you could do.
Again, one of my favorite things about the anime we watch, is learning what we learn just like as if we were the character, except this time, like, the characters wouldn't just be randomly talking in previous episodes. Like, why the fuck would they be randomly talking about an earthquake that happened in the past? It didn't happen until they got to the situation to where that earthquake actually happened. And then we learned about it, which, again, storytelling's pacing is so important. And we're going to talk about this next week in even greater detail when we go to review Link Click. But I just wanted to say that the show is special. I think we should move on, because we a lot of good conversations being had here when we could be having during next week's during next week's review of Link Click. But
for sure,
like, it's special. It's a good show. Watch Link Click. You can pretty much tweet at us what you think our review score of Link Click is going to be, and we'll whoever's the closest will, I don't know, do something special or something. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, check out Link Click. Let's go into spoiling Jobless Reincarnation though. The episode we're spoiling of Jobless Reincarnation is episode 11 of 12. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This episode was titled Dreams and Reality. Rudy finally had his dream come true, but got fucking punched in the dick by reality.
And I mean, yeah, but there's a lot to this episode, right?
Very, but not though, right? Like it's not a lot, but it's a lot because they finally make it back to his homeland. Mm-hmm.
And they have that talk with Rugert, the Superb, and basically he lets before that he let Rugert know that the curse was already lifting to begin with.
Yep.
As soon as you cut your hair and you were working really hard to kind of improve yourself, the curse started lifting.
Yeah.
The man God told me that, you just got to keep this up and you're good. And to see Rugert cry,
yes.
To see, like, to understand that his efforts aren't going unnoticed, that he's actually making progress. That shit was amazing. Like that moment in itself. And it's like, I wasn't going to cry in that moment about that, but it was nice to see a character who put on that Stonewall mentality and physique to kind of like block everything out, have that moment of breaking down, because he needed this. This is what his whole goal was in the beginning.
And remind you, he's obviously he's a demon, so and not in a mic check waifu sense, but in actual sense, he's a demon. And he spent centuries,
4 of them,
not just years, centuries trying to improve. And as soon as he met Rudy, and as soon as he started traveling with Rudy, it improved. And 2 years, which is a tickle in the pickle to a Superb. You know what I'm saying? So it's like extremely special that that this journey has got rid of a curse that he's been suffering with for the majority of his life, and now he doesn't have to. He's beginning to not have to worry about that. So, like you said, I mean, after he finds that out, it's then time for him to leave. His job is complete, to guide Rudy and Aerith's home. He managed to do that, and that scene was powerful because he basically told him, like, you guys aren't kids anymore. You guys can handle yourself. You guys made it here. You guys helped me. Thank you. I appreciate it. We gotta go. Time to go. I'll see you again.
And Rudy did a great job of making sure that Rugert knew that he was important to him, because Rugert was going to give back the medallion, the necklace, and he said, "Isn't this precious to you?" He said, "Yes, it's precious to me, but I want you to keep it." It's like him saying in return, "You are precious to me too."
Yep.
The experiences that they had with him are detrimental to like his life now.
Facts.
Those are very important moments. He taught him life lessons, and they learned life lessons together, and they made it through things. He's returning all the nice things that Rugert said about him by giving him that medallion and saying, let's go on.
Right.
Basically, and Rugert in his heart is saying, let's meet again.
Yep.
Then we get into the camps, essentially, because it's not a city anymore.
No. So Aerith finally makes it back to her homeland, and we find out that Ghislaine is alive.
Well, we knew she was strong as fuck.
Fuck. Yeah, it's fuck. Like, for real. Like, were we really worried? No. But she sees her, and it's very heartfelt reunion between those two, and Rudy is there. Then the bombshell gets dropped of what happened to her family. Gone. Everyone's gone. Can you imagine being in a situation to where you're at war, you're a general in a war, General Montel Williams, okay? You are in war. This random fucking light comes through your window. You grab your wife and say, "Baby, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm holding you close." You teleport. When you teleport to your fucking enemy's homeland. The people you're at war with in their homeland. Just the two of you. How fucked up is that? They're gone.
Yeah.
That's awful, bro. That is awful. I'm like, is there anything worse than that? Like, anything? I don't think so.
They basically just got handed to them, and immediately Rudy just feels like it's all his fault. When in reality, like, yes, he had a little bit in it, but I feel like that was going to happen regardless, you know? Like, that storm was coming. He just might have provoked it a little bit sooner.
Made it come faster.
Yeah. But to feel like that was his fault, Eris wanted to quell that within him immediately. She said, you know, she held his hand, making him feel like, you know, this is not your fault.
Right.
But also to find out that Eris's grandfather was dead. We knew that, though.
Yeah, we saw that, sadly.
We saw that happen episodes ago. And that shit was harsh. But we knew that.
Somebody had to pay the price.
Right. And they basically told Eris that, hey, look, this is or not Ghislaine, because Ghislaine wasn't doing that. Eris was told that, look, someone wants to take you on as a concubine, basically as a wife, lower wife, not going to be his main wife. You know, so you'll still remain in some sort of power, basically. Right. You'll be protected. And Eris ain't having that. She ain't really feeling that.
Well, at that time, we don't even know if she's not feeling that. She's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Give me some time. She got that time. And then night approaches. And she come through. This part, I didn't really quite understand. Why not run away together?
Because, hear me out. And so they did the do.
Sex.
And Eris pushed it. She really pushed it.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that Rudy shows self-control. We already know he was a little pervert.
But he also knew it. He felt like it would be taking advantage of her at this point.
Absolutely.
But also, I think she definitely took advantage of the scenario. Mm-hmm. She wanted to do that for whatever reason she wanted, and she did it. Now, after that's done, and they wake up Rudy wakes up in the morning, he realizes that she's gone. Leaves a letter, said they're not well suited for each other right now,
which I didn't understand because she spent time saying how much she don't want to be apart from Rudy no matter what during this whole entire journey, just to get into the situation and said we're not compatible. So after they do something,
but something's definitely up, bro. But here's the thing. Eris has been training with Ruger the entire time, becoming stronger and stronger, becoming a warrior. She's come across even stronger warriors than who she thought was the strongest she had ever met. Mm-hmm. And she even said, I kind of expected something like this to happen, right? She had expected her parents and her grandfather to already be gone. But I think in her mind, regardless, this can't be the end of her journey because she has to get some kind of revenge. I'm not going to say that's 100% her goal, but I think her goal has to end with some kind of revenge.
But my point is why leave one of the strongest mages ever? Why
because she knows she can't protect him. She can't protect him, really.
He can protect himself.
Yeah, but she might feel like a hindrance. She can't. It took her how long to be able to fight Ruger and get where she got. And he got that demon eye, and he was able to keep up with her without ever having to actually physically train to be that strong. Yeah. And
I don't know. I feel like the emotions that they portray between each other throughout this entire show was she turned it into a cement block after she pushes something that he wanted to make sure that he kept his promise, the proper promise. When he's 15, we can become one. And I don't understand it. Like, we're not compatible.
I think that was to make herself that cement block, like you said. Like that moment, she needed to have that to be able to get through what she planned on doing. I think the idea of them being incompatible is false to her.
Yeah.
I don't think that's actually what she believes. I think that she did what she did because she needed to go and get what she wanted. Or do what she felt like she needed to do.
Yeah, to get away from that situation.
Right. I mean, she cut all her hair off.
Yeah.
So she's basically changing her identity.
Yep. It's not fair.
You know?
It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair to and that's how I feel like he feels. It's not fair for you to, like he said, abandon me. Like, there was absolutely no reason for her to do it. I think, personally. Maybe there is to her. We'll find out, hopefully, next episode, because it's the last episode. But fuck, that intro was so fire, bro. God,
yeah, the intro was perfect. The outro was perfect. It was all perfect.
God damn. Just good. I'm still sad he hasn't found his mother. The most important person in the show to me being his mother. I'm sad that we still haven't seen her yet. I hope she's okay.
We'll find out next episode.
I hope.
Dun dun dun.
I can't stand it not being found. But all in all, Jobless Reincarnation is fantastic. I'm sad it's ending. We should probably do a review for this one day too, but probably not anytime soon.
For sure.
And let it marinate.
Yeah, give it another rewatch since everything will be done.
Facts. See how it pastes.
Come on, bro. We already know it's paced well.
Yeah. That's a fact. And the last and final show we're going to spoil tonight for you guys is the season finale of Blue Period. Probably one of the most incredible shows this fall season.
Blue Period is a diamond.
Yes, a diamond in the rough, because like you said at the very beginning, our style isn't that great, but I still stand by what I said since the beginning. I think that was intentional from the artist.
And I agree with that, and it grew on me a lot, right? Because to me, it has that webtoon look almost. Like it's not. And I think the webtoons look really good, but it has that webtoon look essentially with the art being the focus, like you initially stated.
Yeah.
And it looks so good when they're putting that definition into the artwork. It even changes the actual characters' designs when they really get into it. So yeah, that I think. I mean, I don't want to give my opinion on the rating right now, but I think artistically is one of the best that we've seen artistically because of the contrast that they intentionally took. That was intention.
I agree.
So it's hard to give it anything less than a great score.
I 100% agree with that. Dude, everything from, like, again, the inner monologue between Yaguichi was fire. The supporting cast was unfucking believable. Like, unbelievable supporting cast, to which everything felt grounded. Everything felt just appropriate for the situation that our main character was going through. I absolutely fucking love both the cram school teacher and the art club teacher. Like, the art club teacher obviously being my number one waifu. I just love her to death. She was incredible. I had something about her. I don't know what it was. She had me at hello. But I just love the way it just moved, man. This whole show, the way it moved was perfect, bro. The stress and that rash, I was scared it was going to be something more major. I'm glad it wasn't. Like, thank goodness it wasn't. And usually I'm okay with, like, something being sad, obviously, from what I just talked about earlier in the show.
Right.
This wasn't the case. It was just good. Everything was just good. Well done. Stressful. Yeah. Tense. Because there was moments you legitimately did not know if he was going to make the Tokyo Art University or not. I didn't know.
The thing is with this that made it so I don't want to say dynamic, but that made it so interesting in general.
Dynamic is a great word.
What made it so interesting in general, though, is the fact that, like, when we get into this final episode and we see him finishing up his artwork, essentially.
Wonderful. It looked great, by the way.
Yeah, it did. It looked amazing, and we kind of get that concept of transparency that he was doing. and how we also realized how important his sketchbook was to the final piece, and his artwork was really, really good. And then we kind of see after that it's done and he gets accepted, his teachers tell him, or one of his teachers tell him, hey, you have to reproduce that work now. And now he has to sit down and reproduce the work, and they're like, "Yo, this looks great." And he's like, "Well, I did even more to it this time than I did then," because he has that time to kind of reprieve and break and think about what he's doing instead of being in that struggle in that high pressure situation.
Oh, have fun, man, and just have fun. And that's bro. It's just thinking back on it, like when I mentioned the side characters. I just thought about is just somebody who's in this entire show, probably the most important piece of this entire show, and didn't get that much screen time at all. This is mom, man. His mom was fucking awesome, man.
She came in clutch too.
She was so good. She was incredible. The way I felt she really fucking she just believed in her fucking son, and I felt like she was underappreciated, but I just loved her so much, man. She was literally the rock of the entire show for me, and she had maybe a total of 10 minutes in the entire season. But I loved her to death, man.
I agree. I also think probably, in my opinion, the most important moment of this episode, which just really hit home for me, was like Kuana, and how before they went in for this final day anyway, she's like, no matter what happens, I'm going to go see a concert after this.
Yep.
And when she was done, she found out that she failed. She ran off. She didn't show necessarily like anything other than exasperation. Like, yeah, she's tired. She let it go. She didn't let it get the best of her right then and there. She went to that concert. She had a good time with, looks like, her older sister. And when she came out of that concert, talked about how fun it was. She took a deep breath and just was like,
broke down.
Boom.
Yep.
Started crying. It hit her right then and there. Because that's real. Sometimes you've put so much work into something, so much effort, so much love, time and care into something, and you're so drained that you can't express yourself right then and there.
Yeah.
You need to recharge before you can let yourself drain again.
That's exactly
and
right.
That's what she did. She went to that concert to give herself that emotional energy to recharge, just so that she could actually experience a breakdown. And she needed that. And this show does things like that so fucking well. That was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment in Blue Period. And I think that was my personal favorite moment of that episode, because sheesh, bro.
And just realizing the contrast between those three, right? You got Yagaichi. What's the other guy's name? The super quiet, timid, but yet confident.
Maru.
Yeah, him. You got him just like, yo, I knew I was gonna pass. I'm gonna just do my due. And he just did his due and did his thing. And the girl, she was overly stressed, like you said, and she probably just couldn't express herself through her art like she was supposed to, because she wasn't having fun. It took Yaguchi to have that self-realization, like, oh shit, true self means boom. And when he figured it out, it was pen and paper, and he just went off and every time he goes off in his show, the way his eyes look, his concentration, his focus completely changes from his original character's like facial structure and emotion. It was wonderful. It was just so well done. So fucking well done.
Also, just another funny point, just talking about the dude Maru, what he said, and I find this hilarious because I guess some people really like this, and I think this is really how some people are. When he was saying, has anyone ever told you your artwork is good? And Maru was like, I know my artwork is good. I don't need anyone to tell me my work is good.
Right.
Like, it's not confidence. I don't have confidence in my work. It just is.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, it just is. My work is just good. But also, I was the only thing I was a little disappointed in this episode is that we didn't get a true closing on Haruka, other than the fact that we know he passed. Right. We know he passed, but we didn't get a true closing on like what's going on with him. But we knew he passed.
Right.
But it was good to see like the students that that showed their promise and their talent got through well. Sad to see the ones who still showed promise and didn't go through it. This anime did a lot of they did every character justice, in my opinion.
Thanks.
Like Polo said, I don't think we need more. I think that they definitely could do more, but I don't think we need it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we need it. A very nice close. I feel like we are going to get some more though. I don't know why. Something tells me we're going to get more because it feel real open ended, even though we don't need it at all. Like I'm satisfied with this just as much as I was with what was the show from last season? Remake Our Life.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely need more of that, obviously. But but
yeah, that might be top 3 of the year, top 2.
Easily, bro. Fuck, Remake Our Life was so good. Good show, man. Let's wrap this episode up.
So we just finished talking about Blue Period, one of our diamonds for the year. Man, it was so good. Let us know what you thought about that final episode, that finale. We also talked about Jobless Reincarnation with the finale for that coming next week. Let us know what you're thinking about that as well. And we also talked about Link Click. A lot coming next week. We got a review for Link Click coming next week. Give us your reviews on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to do. Let us know what you think about it. We also had our question before the break. We get to know Mike Check Waifu is your favorite comedy anime. There's some funny ones out there. It's not My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu because it's not really a comedy. It's we also talked about Ranking the Kings and how, you know, it's some pretty good stuff going on in there. Not going to say it's one of the best ones, but it's definitely a really good one. Yeah. And the cancellation live action Cowboy Bebop, we do think that was kind of deserved, but you know, it's still on Netflix. You can go finish it or watch it whenever you want to. This episode of Demon Slayer was not anything more than satire, but it got us to the next point. We're interested to see what's happening next. And then some of our most interesting anime that we kind of just wanted to point out and highlight were Banished from Heroes Party and World's Finest Assassin. Our biggest disappointments being Platinum End and Faraway Paladin, because both of them just dropping balls all over the place and not the kinds people happy to see. Polo also watched Myself, Yourself. Another solid slice of life from the Polo agenda. He got a slice of life book over there that he's sharing with y'all day by day. Episodes of the week being Ranking of Kings and Jobless Reincarnation. And that's been episode 130 of Mike Check Waifu.
I'm at Polo Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram. And as always, Mike check.
Check.
予行練習なんて全部嘘。You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu.